Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, an Oxford man is arrested for robbery. The soup and sweet stroll is back, and the annual Christmas parade is right around the corner.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. A 48-year-old Oxford man, Leonza Lafayette Tipton III, was arrested on October 25th for allegedly stealing a purse from a local Lake Orion restaurant. Tipton turned himself into the police after he saw himself on a surveillance video broadcast by a local TV news station. He was charged with and jailed for larceny from a building, a 4-year felony, and defrauding an innkeeper, a 90-day misdemeanor. Bond was set at $5,000.
Oxford Township officials have scheduled meetings to figure out what they're going to do with the township's latest receivership of community development block grant funds. Officials and the public will decide what to do with about $30,000 in acquired CDBG funds. The proposal of these public hearings are to review community development housing needs and to inform citizens about availability, eligibility, and various uses for the funds. The public is invited to share their ideas at the Oxford Township Office Chambers on Wednesday, November 20th at 6:30 p.m.
As the holidays approach, individuals are stocking up on those must-have items everyone dreams of seeing on their Thanksgiving table. However, not everyone's pantry will be stocked this year, so Oxford Orion Fish wants to do something about it. Fish is turning to you, the community, for help to ensure everyone throughout Oxford, Lake Orion, Addison, and Oakland townships have a chance to enjoy Thanksgiving. To help accomplish this, Fish wants you to know that they are again spearheading their annual Thanksgiving food drive, now through November 22nd. Drop-off locations for the drive include St. Joseph Catholic Church and Christ of the Redeemer Catholic Church, both in Lake Orion. You can also drop off food items at the Oxford Orion Fish Building.
The Lakeville Elementary Literacy Club was the recipient of some local generosity totaling over $300. At the 2019 Oxford Business and Health Expo held back in September, the Oxford Chamber of Commerce announced the Literacy Club was chosen to receive a donation from the Chamber to benefit students in the club. At the time of the presentation, students had the opportunity to share what they love most about literacy, and the answer was reading.
Founder, CEO, and Chairman of the Board for Oxford-based Lighting Technologies, Jeffrey Owen, recently named Damien Kassab as Executive Vice President and Vice Chairman of the Board. Kassab was most recently the Managing Partner and Director of Sulco Advisors and Rochester-based boutique strategic advisory firm. Lighting Technologies, a pallet manufacturer, produces virtually indestructible, lightweight, hygienic, and fire-retardant pallets.
Students at Kingsbury Country Day Elementary School celebrated Veterans Day just a few days early this year with a breakfast honoring several local veterans on Friday, November 8th. The veterans from the community were invited to share the morning with the eager children with plenty of questions. After coffee and breakfast, the students listened to a special guest speaker, Chief Warrant Officer 3, Mike Gammon. The children then led veterans to their classrooms for some questions and answer time.
Mark your calendars for December 6th. On December 6th, downtown restaurants and businesses are going to remain open late hours to increase your downtown Oxford holiday shopping experience by providing special pricing on merchandise. This while at the same time enjoying the annual Soup and Sweet Stroll. Visitors can purchase tickets in Centennial Park, then stroll from restaurant to restaurant, tasting Oxford's signature soups and sweets. The event includes the visit with Santa Claus, a petting zoo, caroling, and performances from the Oxford Community Schools Choir. The highlight of the evening is the annual tree lighting ceremony at 8 p.m. in the Centennial Park. Be there.
Well, this is what kids have been waiting for all year long. The annual Oxford Christmas Parade will take place on Saturday, December 7th at 1 p.m. Presented by the Oxford Chamber of Commerce, Genesis Credit Union, Oxford Bank in the Village of Oxford, there will be plenty of activities for all people of all ages to enjoy. Simply attending the event is free. However, if you plan on participating in the parade, there is a pre-registration fee on the website or over the phone. It's guaranteed there will be beautiful floats, music, and fun for all. The parade lineup takes place from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the day of the parade. Get there early and stake out the very best view. How exciting. Here it is again. It just seems like we were talking about 4th of July.
Yes, we were.
Wow, I can't believe it. So now it's that holiday giving time of year, right?
It is. And there's some great opportunity, you know, during the soup and sweet stroll that they're going to have coming up. And with the stores remaining open later with a holiday spirit, get out there, buy those Christmas gifts, I think is a great idea.
Shop local, shop local. I say that all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's a necessity, especially since we're going to have that M24 shutdown next year. We really need to support the businesses now. And we need to support Oxford Orient Fish, not only this time of year, but all year long. But they are starting to gather for their baskets.
Yeah, they are a great organization, as most of you people in this area know. They do a lot of good. And just recently, they sold their old building, which is good because it provides a little more cash flow for them.
It sure does. And so, for those of you that might not know, and it's been about a year and a half, they're right there on M24 now, just south of Drainer Road on the west side. So if you want to stop and drop off some, they probably would like some gift certificates.
Yeah, and they'll take money too if you have.
Right.
Got some extra.
It's a lot easier, then they know what they need to buy. Right. And speaking of that, I'm on the chamber board now, and we were talking about ways to help the community. I know that when I was on the village council, when we'd get our checks for being on the council, those huge checks for volunteering, if I had extra money, I'd kind of give it back to pay somebody's water bill. So if you know some of the older folks in the community that need something like that, or their garbage bill, or even their rent, let's do it. We're in a booming economy right now, it seems. There's building going on all over the place, so if we can afford to help out, we should.
About those large checks, on the village council, when I was there, I don't remember any of those.
Those big, huge checks. Yeah.
So you got to want to do it.
Yeah,
support the community.
You really do. And I have to say, the council's doing pretty good right now.
They're doing well.
Good to see.
I like the leadership under Joe Frost.
Yeah, it's good to see.
I think they're doing. The only one thing bothers me, and that's chickens. But other than that.
Keep an eye on our meetings. We record those meetings, and there's always a chicken discussion.
There is.
It's pretty funny that that's happening. But anyhow. Holidays are coming up. Let's spread some good cheer. And that's it for Oxford News this week. If you want to learn more about these stories here and others, you can pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, you can catch us on our website, occtv.org, on YouTube, and of course our regular cable channels, Spectrum, Channel 191, and AT&T Channel 99.
And coming up soon, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with School Sports and Schooling Around, incorporating great topics with Alexis Ware. And you won't want to miss Auto Talk and Science and the News with Dave Kenny.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News this week, where we bring your news closer to home. And I want to say this is Alexis's last news segment. We're welcoming in River to take her place, and good luck to Alexis as she moves on to a major news station.
Can I name that station or no? Channel 6 out of Lansing.
Yeah, that's right.
So you folks tune in to Channel 6 and you'll see her out there, her smiling
Yeah,
face.
we're going to miss her.
We call her Sunshine here.
Yeah, she is.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, it's time to come home. Japan's Hayabusa 2 spacecraft has begun its departure from the asteroid Ryugu, carrying 2 samples of the space rock back to Earth for analysis. This is an emotional moment, the team posted on the mission's Twitter account. The probe will take about 5 days to exit the sphere of Ryugu's gravitational influence. During this time, it will make farewell observations as it slowly moves away from the small world that has been its home for the last 17 months. Then, it will fire its main engines for the journey back to Earth, which will take about a year. The original Hayabusa mission returned the first asteroid samples to Earth in 2010. This time, the probe has sampled the interior of the asteroid first by firing a tantalum bullet into the rock, then dropping an explosive charge that disturbed a 20-meter area on its surface. Ryugu is a relic from the formation of our solar system. Its surface has been altered by millions or billions of years of exposure to cosmic radiation, but its pristine interior could tell us about the makeup of the early planets. The mission will also act as a demonstration for the nascent space mining industry. Its ability to obtain resources such as water, iron, or silicon on asteroids may be essential for humanity to make a home for other worlds. Other asteroid explorer is also following close behind. NASA's OSIRIS-REx spacecraft is currently in orbit around the asteroid Bennu and is set to grab its first sample in the middle of 2020. In our next story, a man in the U.S. started producing beer in his gut after it accidentally became colonized by high levels of brewer's yeast. The normally healthy 46-year-old began to experience mental fogginess, dizziness, and memory loss in 2011 and had to give up his job. He saw multiple doctors, but they couldn't work out what was wrong. A psychiatrist prescribed him antidepressants in 2014, but that didn't help. A few months later, the man was pulled over and arrested for erratic driving. His blood alcohol reading was 200 milligrams per 100 milliliters, about the level that would be expected if he had consumed 20 standard alcoholic drinks. He maintained that he hadn't had anything to drink, but the police didn't believe him. On another occasion, the man was hospitalized after falling and hitting his head. Doctors detected a large amount of alcohol in his system, but also couldn't believe him when he said he hadn't been drinking. Baffled, the man saw a gastroenterologist who discovered high levels of a fungus called Saccharomyces cerevisiae in his stool. This fungus is also known as brewer's yeast because it is used by beer makers to convert carbohydrates and grains into alcohol. Subsequent tests showed that a similar conversion process was happening in the man's gut. Every time he ate carbohydrates, his blood alcohol shot up, sometimes to as high as 400 milligrams per 100 milliliters. In 2017, the man attended a specialist clinic at Richmond University Medical Center in New York, where he was diagnosed with autobrewery syndrome. This is a rare condition that occurs when certain gut microbes become overgrown and convert carbohydrates to alcohol. The man's autobrewery syndrome was probably triggered by a prolonged course of antibiotics that he took in early 2011 for a thumb injury, says Fahad Malik, one of the doctors at the Richmond University Medical Center who made the diagnosis. These antibiotics probably disrupted the man's balance of gut microbes, causing abnormal growth of the yeast, which normally exist at low levels in the human gut, says Malik. The abundant yeast then converted any carbohydrates he ate into beer-like substances. Malik and his colleagues are the first to describe autobrewery syndrome resulting from antibiotic use. However, there has been reported in people with gut disorders like Crohn's disease, most commonly due to overabundance of another fungus called Candida albicans, which is also known for its role in vaginal thrush. Last month, doctors in China also reported a case of autobrewery syndrome caused by an overgrowth of Klebsiella pneumoniae bacteria. Malik treated the man with antifungal medication, probiotics, and a strict low-carbohydrate diet to get rid of the excess brewer's yeast in his gut. He now has been symptom-free for almost 2 years. He was extremely happy when he started to recover because for years no one believed him, says Malik, who presented the case at the annual meeting of the American College of Gastroenterology. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my very last school news broadcasting at OCTV. It's been an incredible journey learning the ins and outs of Oxford School District and getting to know the staff and administration. But most of all, it's been a blast getting to know the students. Before I get all sentimental and emotional, we're going to get into last week's recap. Last week was a Board of Ed meeting at Oxford Middle School. As always, if you missed that meeting and would like to see it, visit our Facebook and YouTube pages at Oxford Community Television. Clear Lake Elementary met for their monthly Green Team meeting, and OMS also had a PTO meeting and parent-teacher conferences both Thursday and Friday last week. This week, Oxford Middle School has Spirit Week all week long, leading up to an early release on Tuesday, November 26th, and then Thanksgiving break for the remainder of that week, ending the month of November. This Friday, November 22nd, Lakeville Elementary are housing their parent-teacher conferences between 1 p.m. and 4. That day, all elementary schools have half days, and Oxford High School is showcasing their fall theater show, Clue. Doors open at 7 on Friday. Saturday, there's 2 showings of that performance, one early showing from 2 until 4, and one later showing at 7. Keep in mind, Thanksgiving break is coming up fast, and there will be no school district-wide from December 27th until the following Monday on December 2nd. As I keep mentioning, I will no longer be the Schooling Around and School News host come next week, but in my place, you will be receiving a great new reporter. A few of you may have already begun to see him around town and at some community meetings. In case you haven't yet met new Schooling Around and School News host, River Tuck, take a look at this quick clip. Hello everyone, I'm Alexis.
And I'm River Tuck.
As you know, I've been the host for both our Schooling Round and School News here at OCTV for the past year, and now it's time to pass the torch to River.
Thank you. First and foremost, I'd like to speak on behalf of all of our viewers and say thank you to Alexis for the outstanding job she has done in this role. I look forward to attempting to fill the rather large shoes that Alexis has left for me, and I'm very excited to meet more of the community and share with our viewers what's going on in and around the schools of the Oxford area.
Although River will be taking over my position here, you can still catch School News and Schooling Around at the same times.
Monday through Saturday, the school news as part of the OCTV news as a whole will air at 12 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and 11 p.m. You can also catch the OCTV news on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. and 11 p.m.
Monday through Friday, you can catch the Schooling Around segment airing at 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and on Saturdays at 7.
Again, a huge thank you to Alexis for doing a fantastic job showing me the ropes, and also a thank you to you, everyone in the Oxford community, those who have already given me a warm welcome, and to the many others that I look forward to meeting. Thank you for making Oxford the extraordinary community that it is.
Until next time.
I'm River Tuck.
And I'm Alexis. That was new host River Tuck and I introducing him to the community. Welcome aboard, River, and good luck on your journey here at OCTV. I know you'll do great. Before I go, congratulations is in order for not just River, but for Oxford High School teacher Katie Getz and Oxford High School senior John Keller. Getz is a health, physical education, and leadership teacher at OHS. She leads leadership students in putting together school-spirited events such as homecoming, pep rallies, and more. And this past week, she was awarded at the annual Shape Michigan Annual Conference with the 2019 Shape Michigan Honor Award. When asked about GOTS, Oxford High School communication specialist Daniel Stablinski commented that Katie certainly defines a dedicated and hardworking leader. According to Oxford Leader Assistant Publisher Don Rush. John Keller, a senior this year at OHS, became an Eagle Scout just recently at his Eagle Court of Honor ceremony. Keller commented that Eagle Scouts has changed him as a person and prepared him for what life can throw at him. Congratulations to both Katie Getz and John Keller of OHS. And sadly, that about wraps up this episode of School News. Stay tuned for my last episode of Schooling Around, accompanied by River Tuck. And it's here for goodbye. I'm Alexis.
What's going on, Wildcat fans? Cody right back here with this week's sports report. We got some final things to go over for the fall season, and our winter schedule is literally right around the corner. Not a lot to go over this week, but let's dive right in. First off, 2 girls swim athletes qualified for the Michigan High School Athletic Association State Meet, which will take place on November 22nd and 23rd. The girls competed very well in the Oakland Activities White Prelims at Lake Orion High School, and that was on November 8th. Senior Ashley Weltek will be competing in the 50-meter freestyle, and junior Grace Sandstrom will be competing in the 100-meter breaststroke. Best of luck to both of these athletes on the meet. We'll have more on that next week. Boys basketball season is just about ready to go, and our very own senior Trey Townsend has recently announced his commitment to Oakland University next year. Townsend averaged 19 points and 8 rebounds per game last year as a junior, and now has established himself as one of Oakland County's top prospects. Congratulations to Trey. We look forward to watching you and the guys take on another great season. And last but not least, the girls volleyball team ended their season at the district finals to Lake Orion. What an impressive year, winning 27 matches. The girls didn't go down without a fight. In the first match, they won 25-20. The second match, they fell 27-25, tying it up at 1. It was a very close match. Lake Orion really played well in the third, taking the win 25-12, and then Oxford came back in the fourth, winning 25-23, another close match that tied the game overall. And the fifth match was intense and very close, the girls falling by very slim margins, 15-12. If you're going to go out, there's no better way to do so. These girls didn't stop fighting, and Lake Orion didn't secure a victory until the very end. Congratulations on a great season. Anyhow, that's all for this week's report. For any more info on upcoming season openers for the winter, go to oxfordathletics.org. There's plenty of rosters, schedules, and more all right there for you to check out. Once again, that is oxfordathletics.org. While you're at it, might as well check us out at occtv.org. All of our coverage of these events and more can be found on our YouTube page, which you can access through the website. Once again, that is occtv.org. I want to thank you all for watching and remind you all to tune in next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, General Motors plans to build 4 electric vehicles at Detroit-Hamtramck Assembly by the end of 2023, including battery-powered versions of the GMC Sierra and Cadillac Escalade, according to a prominent forecasting firm. The plant, which had been scheduled to close in January, will remain open under the automaker's newly ratified contract with the UAW. The deal states that GM has agreed to invest $3 billion and use the plant to build electric pickups and vans. Production of those vehicles is scheduled to start in 2021 and will be followed by the electric Sierra and Escalade in 2023, LMC Automotive told Automotive News. LMC is a closely watched provider of industry sales and production forecasts. GM declined to comment November 14th on its future product plans. Given the platform and size, LMC expects the van built at Detroit-Hamtramck to be full-size, possibly similar to the Ford Transit. The plant's full capacity today is 160,000 vehicles per year, but after the conversion to EV production, capacity will drop to about 100,000 vehicles, LMC estimates. GM expects to employ 2,225 people at Detroit-Hamtramck when it reaches full capacity, according to its contract with the UAW. The plant will play an integral role in GM's commitment to build 20 EVs globally by 2023. Last fall, GM said Detroit-Hamtramck was one of 4 plants slated to close as part of a sweeping restructuring plan. The other 3 plants identified, Lordstown Assembly in Ohio and transmission plants in Maryland and Michigan, have been shut down permanently. GM has agreed to sell the Lordstown plant to an EV manufacturing startup. Reuters last month reported that GM may bring back the Hummer brand on a vehicle it builds at Detroit-Hamtramck, though it's unclear which product would bear the Hummer name. And at Ford Motor Company's new long-range electric crossover is not just inspired by the Mustang, it's joining the stable. The automaker on November 14th said the vehicle will be called the Mustang Mach-E, making it the first crossover to wear the galloping horse badge in the iconic pony car's 55-year history. Ford plans to reveal the Mach-E on November 17th ahead of the Los Angeles Auto Show. Ford said it will begin accepting $500 refundable reservations starting after the reveal ends around 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The deposit will allow customers to configure their vehicle and reserve their spot in line for when the crossover goes on sale next year. Ford has made a deliberate decision to focus on performance with its next wave of EVs after its early foray into the electrification produced now discontinued vehicles such as the Ford Electric and C-Max plug-in hybrid that were known more for their fuel economy than driving capability. Speaking about the Mach-E at this year's Crain's Detroit Business Newsmaker of the Year luncheon, Ford Executive Chairman Bill Ford said it's going to go like hell, a callback to the automaker's motto when racing at Le Mans. When we first started talking about electrification, Ford said, there was this thought that it had to be a trade-off. It was either going to be green and boring and no fun, or really exciting and burn a lot of fossil fuels. Electrification has come to the point where you can do both. And on the recall front, Ford Motor Company says it's recalling America's best-selling vehicle for an improperly secured part that could lead to the engine stalling or a loss of braking or steering assist. The automaker on November 14th said it's calling back more than 135,000 F-150 pickups in the U.S. from 2019 to 20 model years for a positive battery terminal fastener. In addition to the mechanical issues, the company said the defect could increase the risk of a potential fire. Ford is not aware of any accidents or injuries, that is, related to the issue. Affected vehicles were built at the automaker's Dearborn truck plant between July 15th to August 1st of this year, and at its Kansas City assembly plant from June 24th to August 1st. Another 30,000 trucks are being recalled in Canada, along with 2,200 in Mexico. Separately, Ford is calling back more than 86,000 F-Series Super Duty pickups in the U.S. from 2019 to 2019 model years with LED headlamps that are controlled with an incorrectly configured body control module. Ford is not aware of any accidents or injuries related to that issue. Over 14,000 vehicles are impacted in Canada. The pickups were built at the Kentucky truck plant in Louisville between May 1st of 2017 and October 8th of 2019. Well, that's it for this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and as always, may the wind be at your back as you cruise down Life Sideways.
Hi, I'm Danielle Smith, and welcome to your weekly calendar, where I share the events and activities going on in your community. So listen up and take notes. Here we go. MDOT has a message regarding the preliminary work being done for the Restore M24 project that is scheduled to begin in March of 2020. Due to the winter weather event we had last week, the utility company's start date was delayed by a few days. Because of that, MDOT is allowing Consumers Energy to work the weekend of November 23rd. This means that the northbound and southbound right lane closures from Drainer Road to Harriet Street will remain in effect for that weekend. There is also the possibility that companies will need additional weekends in December to complete the work, pending any other winter weather events. It is important to note that MDOT, as well as the utility companies, are aware of the Christmas activities that are taking place downtown the weekend of December 7th, so there will not be any interference that weekend. The Addison Township Public Library Board of Trustees will be holding their monthly board meeting on November 19th at 7 p.m. Come to the meeting to stay up to date on budget, policies, and the building facility. The Addison Township Public Library is located at 1400 Rochester Road. Have you already started making plans for Thanksgiving this year? While doing so, don't forget about those in need. Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry is hosting their annual Thanksgiving food drive and are in desperate need of those items that help make Thanksgiving what it is. Help ensure that everyone gets to have a great Thanksgiving and donate non-perishable food items that you would like to see on your Thanksgiving table. Donors can drop off their items at Fish, located at 1060 South Lapeer Road, or call 248-628-3933 to find other drop-off locations for the food drive. The Oxford Chamber of Commerce is hosting a ribbon cutting on November 20th. Come out to the Oxford Chiropractor, located at 44 North Washington at 4 p.m. to help celebrate. We have officially entered mid-November, so those holiday events are just around the corner, and here's one to put on your calendars: the annual Oxford Christmas Parade. This year's Christmas Parade will be making its way down Washington Street on December 7th at 1 p.m. Whether you are a participant or a spectator, the Christmas Parade is sure to leave everyone feeling a little bit more jolly. For those interested in participating in the parade, head over to the Chamber website, oxfordchamber.net, and click on the Events tab. From there, you will find an online form that will need to be submitted. If you are looking to volunteer for the Christmas Parade, contact the Chamber office at 248-628-0410. The Village of Oxford is hosting their annual Soup, Sweet, and Stroll on Friday, December 6th. Meet at Centennial Park, starting at 5:45 p.m. to purchase wristbands before strolling around downtown, tasting hors d'oeuvres, soups, and baked goods created special for the event. Don't forget to make your way back to Centennial Park to visit Santa and a petting zoo. Guests will be serenaded with carols by the vocal stylings of the elementary super singers, middle school, and high school choirs that will lead to the tree lighting ceremony. Don't miss out on this Oxford tradition. While it's only November, the Christmas music has already started playing, which means we are about to enter the shopping season. While creating your list of what stores to visit, don't forget about the ones right here in your community. Make sure to visit downtown Oxford on November 30th for Small Business Saturday. Shoppers will find great deals on items such as toys, decor, clothing, accessories, and more. Remember to shop small and shop local. Do you have the inside scoop on an event you think the community should know about? If so, we want to hear from you. Contact the studio at 248-628-9658 or email us at manager@occtv.org. That's a wrap for your weekly calendar. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and YouTube to stay up to date on all things going on in your community. I'm Danielle Smith. See you next time.